Shabbat Shalom. We rabbis and perhaps a few others are really enjoying the headlines this week of an old famous guy who used to say that we should boldly go where no one has gone before, actually going somewhere very few people have gone before. We're enjoying it because this week in the Torah we read the very first words of the Torah portion, Lech Lecha, go somewhere where you've never been. So we say this is old news that some old famous guy, whether his name is William or his name is Avram, that they go somewhere that other people haven't been and they declare that it's really special. When William Shatner was back from his 10 minutes way out there up in space, he said the following: "What you've given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary." He looked at Jeff Bezos, the man who made it possible, and he said, "I hope I never recover from this, that I can maintain what I feel now. I don't want to lose it. It's so much larger than me and life." Well, I imagine there are a few of us, if any, who will be able to afford or figure out how to do what Shatner did. And the truth is, while fun to watch on TV for a few minutes and nice to hear about the view, that is nothing like what a Jewish frontier should look like. That is not anything like what our Torah portion says the journey that Abraham, still known as Avram in this portion, is to take. This has never been a Jewish understanding of a frontier. It is not about the view. It isn't about seeing the largeness of the world. It's not about going to some place other people haven't been. In 1963, in the introduction to Sidney Greenberg's book on wisdom literature, Harry Golden wrote the following. It speaks to this point at another time when we were about to go to a place where we had yet to be. He introduces the book with these words. 1963. "We are going to the moon. We may very well have a man there within a decade. Within the lifetimes of our children, we shall have charted the vast corners of outer space. Perhaps in our own lifetime, we shall know homes heated by atomic energy, drive cars powered by tiny transistors. But I wonder how much any of these things will change us. I wonder if they will make us better people, more knowledgeable, and I doubt that they will." For Golden, for the Jewish tradition, focusing on the frontier in this way, it's a distraction from what's happening in the real world. I imagine he would hate the fact that a 90-year-old television star is staring down at us from space. Who is he helping by being up there, he might say? What progress is made because he has a different view? How is humanity better off? I think the Torah portion would say he's correct, because it starts with these words. Lech Lecha, God said to Abraham, "Go forth from your native land, from your father's house, to the land that I will show you." And it tells us why. "For I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." Gedolah v'bracha. The Jewish frontier is defined by Gedolah, what makes us greater, bracha, and what makes us a blessing. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs writes about those words, Lech Lecha, that we are to go forth, those frontier words. He says there are 4 ways to understand those 2 words, because we don't really know how to translate them. Hebrew is, while hard to learn, a simple language, and so it's missing some of our words that we might use that would help put that sentence together. And so Lech Lecha, he says, in terms of making us great, here's what it could mean and what we should ask ourselves. First, it could mean go for yourself, because the Hebrew words by themselves mean go and you. So it could mean go for yourself. Ask yourself, this journey will be worth it. The frontier is worth seeing if you believe in what you can become. Can you become something more than you are now? That's what it means to be Gedolah, greater. Can I believe in myself to be more than I am? Second translation. Well, what if the word that goes between those two Hebrew words is to? Lech lecha, go to yourself. We ask ourselves, he says, are you authentic to who you are? Can you look yourself in the mirror and say, I see who I am and I accept who I am proudly with authenticity? Third translation. Lech lecha, go with yourself. Do you take your beliefs wherever you go, wherever you've traveled, the different places you've lived, when you visit your family? Or does your way of life change depending on who you're with and where you are? Do you carry your faith, your Judaism, your beliefs, your core values into every situation, or do you allow the world to push you around? If you want to be on the Jewish frontier, lech lecha, go with yourself. Don't leave you behind when you go off into the frontier. Fourth translation. Go by yourself. Lech lecha, are you willing to stand alone for what you believe in? Free of peer pressure, to stand for something, to be a unique person with your own unique voice. Can you stand on that frontier and say what you believe and mean and think, even if you have to do it alone? So that is how we become Gedolah, greater. We make sure that we go for ourselves, to ourselves, with ourselves, and perhaps at times by ourselves. Which leaves the question, what does it mean to be a blessing? We learn in the commentary that these words, to be a blessing, were given because up until this moment in the Torah, God had to offer the blessing to Adam and Eve, to Noah. But once Abraham came along, God said, no, you should be able to offer blessings to others too. People can be better. They can be blessed because of what you say to them, not only because of what I say to them. And so, from here on, the commentary says, the power to bless was entrusted to Abraham and to us, that we could bless whomever we saw fit, to help them celebrate their life, to improve their life. We have the power to empower other people, to help them thrive and survive. And so, after we've asked ourselves if we're going with ourselves and to ourselves and by ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, are we helping others to be their best selves? Have we empowered other people? I imagine it's a little hard to do that from 60,000 miles away in space. Because a frontier in Judaism, a journey, for us is defined by whether we're able to be our best selves and whether we're able to be a blessing to others. That is what we mean when we say lech lecha. We want to boldly go where no other person has been. Because we believe we, like Abraham, have to make that journey. We believe it's not upon us to simply look at the beauty from afar. It is upon us to help beautify the world, to better the world in which we live. So looking down on earth perhaps is a wonderful view, but in reality, I imagine Abraham would say to our good friend Captain Kirk, you didn't really get that far. So how can we be the type of travelers who know who we are, bring the best selves with us, and offer to others the ability to be a blessing and bless them in those moments? Those are the words we share today. Lech lecha. God said to Abraham, go forth from your parents' house to this land that I'll show you so that you can be a great nation. There I will bless you. Your name will become great, and you shall continue to be a blessing. Amen. We'll share those words now as we take our Torah from the